How's it going? Jim back. Gonna get you a little closer. This video is a time-lapse video on taking the valves apart and getting them installed again. I have them all done except the last one. Okay. All of the keepers, retainers, and springs, they were covered. They were covered in melted plastic. It was so bad that I had to use a razor blade and scrape all of it off. So what happened was, since it overheated, not only the thing was trying to fire all the coolant, this was thicker than a razor blade. It was so thick on all the valves. I'd say about 2.5 hours to clean them all. 8 valves, that's not too bad. All of them are in good shape. They were just dirty. So I cleaned them all up. Now, I'm not using any valve lapping compound or anything like that because they're all in good shape. I'm not going to disturb any of the seats because these are hardened seats and there would be no reason to try to clean those because they're really, really clean. You can see all nice shiny pockets. So basically what you want to do is you just want to put this in here with a little light oil. I got all the new valve seals in there. Again, I'm on the last one, so I'm just going to show you. I am using my standard V8 or inline 6 valve compressor, modified with a 1/2-inch PVC coupling because these are deep spring pockets. So I need the length to push it in. Since this has a step down foot for standard V8 stuff. So let me just clean the tip of this off for the locks, and I'm going to show you how to get this in. We'll put a little light oil on the stem. A little light oil on the stem. Stick this in here. Give it a couple of spins and up and down. And there we go. And then all I'm doing is I'm twisting the valve. It's kind of like seating it, but basically it's dry. You can use a suction cup doing this, but I don't need it. I don't find it necessary just because it doesn't. It only has light scuff marks on it. The thing is really, really immaculate. Just again, overheated, dirty, plastic melted inside. So on these springs, I always put the springs back in the same orientation from the head out to the retainer. Retainers are smooth. There's tooling marks in the head. So you look on the spring and you can see a little bit of wear mark on this side where it was touching. So we'll push that all the way up inside there. Make sure it has to seat up inside there. Put the retainer on. Take my PVC coupling. I kind of just hold it there. Take this. And I kind of just wedge it right there. Kind of make sure it's centered. And basically just give it a squeeze until it locks. Now here's the keepers. To get this in way up inside there, this is what you use. It's just assembly goo. I use it for all of my transmissions, gearboxes, power steering pumps, you name it. If it needs to be retained so you can hold it with an extra hand, you don't have one of those because you're not a fucking alien, this is what you use. Put a little dab of of goo kind of just put the little end in. I let it rest right on top of the coupling. Do the second one. Get a little goo on it. You get the shit all over your hands, so it don't really matter. Kind of wipe your hands off a little bit, even though you got gloves. I take this little screwdriver. It's got a bend on it because I bend it for everything. And I use this here flashlight. And basically what I do is I kind of scoop it. And actually it goes right on. Okay, so that's one. Turn this one around. Let me get you closer. Can you see that? You can see in there? Let's see if I can get you in there. See that right there? See, I got one. I'm only 2 men. One in the brain and one in the hands. You know what I'm saying? Kind of get the keeper up on the screwdriver and presto Reno. Kind of let it just sit there. And basically just let off on the, and that's it. So this is what I use. Standard, very much standard. And you can label this here PVC shop tool number 500 or 1000, because I use shit like this all the time. I end up making tons of stuff. Shop tools. And now that that's in there, I just kind of give it a tap just to make sure it's seated. Make sure there's no wood in there from the stupid door, handle of the hammer. And I always wipe everything off, just a clean slate before I put anything on, because you know, shit goes everywhere. And by the way, I cleaned this entire head in the last 2.5 hours with today's gasoline, because there was so much crap on everything. I don't even, it's not varnish, it's just melted plastic, carbon. I just never seen it. 93,000 miles for a new car is nothing. Especially today, man. Everybody's driving Hondas and Toyotas, and I've seen everything driving around with 200,000-300,000 miles. And I drove a Chevy with 300,000 miles that I paid $250 for. So I'm not expecting very much from this. Again, my goal is to get this to work a little bit. Who knows? I'd like to see if I can get this to be usable for the next 5 years until this becomes emission exempt, because it has to be 25 years old. Since this is a 2001, I got a long way to go. If that is the case, you know, depending on you know, what else I have to replace, pretty much just maintenance at this point. I'm probably gonna just drain the transmission fluid and put some new detergent in there and some Lucas, just in case, because I definitely don't, I think this was mostly highway miles because how clean that car is underneath. So there you go. The thing is all cleaned, as you can tell. And it looks pretty decent. It's nice and straight. So now I will put the lifters and cam back in, and that's the end of story with that. because I'm waiting for my cam sensor. I guess I could just bolt the head back down on the engine, call it a day, and then you know, bend over sideways to get that back on, and the pulleys. That's probably what I'm going to do. I'm probably just going to bolt this back on today. No big deal. Today being the 30th of October, by the way, for you people out there. And not so much to believe YouTube land. One of the kids that I got this for, he bought new spark plugs, so I'm going to put those in. But anyways, there you go. Clean them out, resurface them, scrub them, sandpaper. I use a little bit of everything to try to get all that nasty melted plastic off. Put them all back in. Looks like they're all nice and smooth. And I'm just going to reassemble this in a few minutes. There you go. Volkswagen.